Brought to you by...
At some point or another, we've all gotta nut up or shut up. We can't just spend our lives glued to the short-lived entertainment of our phones, and coast through life gaining nothing but age, silently wishing to have the things that we want, and hoping that by some random chance, something will intervene in our day-to-day to push us in a new direction. We have to grab life by the fucking balls and race forward, sticking a gun in the face of anyone or anything that tries to stop us, and pulling the fucking trigger, painting the town red. Or at least, that's somewhat the idea behind this one. Hello friends, and welcome back to ETF. Miles is a video game developer who inadvertently becomes the next participant in a real-life deathmatch that streams online. While Miles soon excels at running away from everything, that's not gonna let him outlast Nyx, a killer at the top of her game. For starters, there's like a dozen fucking company logos at the start of this fucking film, which usually means we are in for an awful piece of shit that isn't worth the effort it will take to sit through. However, thankfully, this isn't the case here. Guns Akimbo is directed and written by New Zealand filmmaker Jason Lee Howden. Howden is known for his work as a visual effects artist for films such as The Avengers and The Hobbit trilogy. Guns Akimbo marks his second feature film as a director. The film features Daniel Radcliffe in the lead role of Miles Lee Harris, a nerdy video game developer who finds himself thrust into a deadly real-life game. Radcliffe is widely recognized for his portrayal of Harry Potter in the popular film series. He also appears in a film called The Woman in Black, which I recently reviewed on the YouTube channel, so go check that out. Principal photography for this film took place primarily in New Zealand. The city of Auckland serves as the backdrop for many scenes in the film, showcasing its urban environments and distinctive locations. The film incorporates a visually dynamic style, with an emphasis on stylized action sequences and vibrant cinematography. The use of special effects, including CGI, enhances the film's exaggerated and heightened reality. The action-packed sequences are complemented by the film's dark humor and energetic pacing. The opening moments of this one introduce us to the idea of this live-streamed death game, where random contestants are forced to battle to the death across the city. Right from the first kills, we see an emphasis on CGI blood and cartoonish violence. However, as soon as we are introduced to our protagonist Miles, we can see why. The highly stylized nature of the film calls for a neon-soaked video game-like approach. Daniel Radcliffe portrays a quick-witted, online troll-hunting, tech-savvy type who works for a video game company. However, he pushes the wrong person's buttons and gets wrapped up in this nightmare game of Schism, getting mounted up with guns surgically attached to his hands. He is placed to survive against Nyx, a coke-infused, mentally ill psychopath who has been running the gambit on this game for some time, knocking off every killer they put in her path. They utilize these video game ideas here really well, even giving us moments where we are placed in Miles' POV, like you would experience in a first-person shooter, and the health-up sound effects whenever he uses his inhaler. The music choices incorporated throughout the action sequences hit the mark every time, utilizing covers of Ballroom Blitz, Spin Me Right Round, and Can't Touch This. The original score is incredibly well designed to match the tone and energy of the film, as well as the cover songs that are incorporated. Every action sequence is presented in a high-energy, thrill-a-second, neon-soaked style, with fast whipping camera moves, highly dynamic transitions between shots, and fast-paced editing. The whole movie is meant to deliver that live-wire, laughably intense, high-energy experience. The best thing I could relate this to would be Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, but, you know, with far more violence and zero aversion to gore. I am absolutely in love with the role choices that Radcliffe has been making since finishing the Harry Potter franchise. He takes all these roles that you would never expect someone of his stature to take, delivering incredible performances each and every time. I love that Miles is a vegetarian who opposes violence and lives his life without incident, and he is forced into this violent and brutal nightmare. The film keeps a running counter of Miles' ammunition throughout, consistently reminding us that he is literally running out of time. The story presented here is sort of your classic pushing a character who has lived his whole life reserved and on the straight and narrow to the breaking point, in order to get him to take charge and protect people he loves. The story is actually very similar to the movie Wanted. They work in this angle of the police trying to track down Nyx and stop her, which gains some weight once we learn that the lead detective is actually Nyx's father, which does put it in danger of becoming a little formulaic. However, they throw this out the fucking window when they blow his brains across Miles' face. This choice just cements that the film is attempting to keep moving and keep itself from becoming stale or stereotypical in any way. I am in love with the overall visual presentation of this film, taking every opportunity to soak the scene in pastels and neons, to set us into an atmosphere akin to Borderlands or Bulletstorm. It's the fun details that make this one as enjoyable as it is. The little elements, like the fact that Nyx's guns have the words kindness painted on the slides, obviously playing fun at the kill them with kindness phrase. I love the way Miles and Nyx shift into almost brother-sister dynamics towards the climax, when they decide to hit Schism head on. This honestly might be one of the most wild and entertaining action films that I've had the pleasure of seeing. From a psychological perspective, the movie delves into various themes, including the effects of online anonymity, desensitization of violence, and the impact of trauma on individual behavior. The protagonist, Miles, finds himself thrust into a deadly game where he must fight for his life. The online community surrounding the game revels in violence and cruelty, using pseudonyms to hide their true identities. This concept mirrors the real-world phenomenon of internet trolls, who engage in hostile behavior without facing immediate consequences. Additionally, hiding behind these false personas provided by the internet allows individuals to detach from their real-life identities, leading to a de-individualization effect. Throughout this film, this allows participants to act upon their darkest impulses without fear of retribution. The film thus underscores the potential dangers of being anonymous online, as it can amplify aggression and lead to the abandonment of moral constraints. The movie also explores the desensitization to violence that can occur when individuals are exposed to extreme and graphic content repetitively. Miles, an ordinary person initially detached from violence, is suddenly forced into a brutal life-or-death game. As the film progresses, Miles becomes desensitized to the violence around him, turning from a passive observer to an active participant. Psychological research suggests that repeat exposure to violent imagery can dull emotional responses and decrease sensitivity to real-world violence. That might explain why I'm so fucked up. This desensitization process is exemplified by Miles' transformation as he adapts to the game's environment. The film serves as a sort of cautionary tale, highlighting the potential consequences of prolonged exposure to violent media and its effects on empathy and ethical decision-making. Miles' journey throughout the film also offers insights into the impact of trauma and individual behavior. After witnessing the violence associated with the game, Miles experiences intense psychological distress, developing symptoms of PTSD. These symptoms manifest as flashbacks, anxiety, and hyperarousal. The film illustrates how traumatic events can profoundly affect an individual's psychological well-being and decision-making processes. Miles' PTSD symptoms impair his judgment and hinder his ability to escape the dangerous game. The portrayal of trauma-induced behavior in Guns Akimbo sheds light on the long-lasting psychological effects trauma can have on an individual, emphasizing the need for appropriate support and therapy to facilitate recovery. By delving into these psychological elements, the film prompts viewers to reflect on the implications of technology, violence, and trauma on human psychology and society as a whole. I would say that if you're a fan of this highly stylized, overindulgent, and extravagant action, then I highly recommend checking this film out. It's been available to view on Amazon Prime for some time. This one is an adrenaline shot to the heart of the action genre. It hits the ground running at 400 miles per hour and almost literally never lets up. It's like someone took a video game and a comic book, smashed them together, and injected a soundtrack that will get your fucking pulse pounding. Well, friends, that's gonna be all for now. If you enjoyed this video, I urge you to check out this film for yourself. I've put a link down in the description on where you can get a copy for your collection. Until the next one, stay safe, keep kicking ass, and as always, thanks for watching.